6 degrees of separation becomes 20. Hi, welcome to Garage Geek. Beth at Miss 80s posted a video that's part of a thread. And so what she did was she showed 20 albums that formed a link, and then she went a step further and she closed the circle. So she made her last one refer back to the beginning. Now I'm going to commit a VC crime. I'm like in the middle of cleaning everything. I do not want to grab stuff off my shelves. So I'm going to rely on pictures, but you have to understand that everything that I mention, I have or have had in the past. Okay, let's get started. I wanted to challenge myself. I want 10 literature books and 10 recordings. And so let's see how successful I was. We're going to start with The Marriage of Heaven and Hell by Ulver. Now, Ulver did this tribute to or interpretation of William Blake's The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. And thanks to T-Cat's Deep Vinyl Tracks, I was exposed to this album, I was challenged to it, and I absolutely loved it. That leads us, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell is a interpretation of a William Blake work. And so this is the illuminated manuscripts for all of Blake's work that he illuminated. And there we have the frontispiece of maybe the cover of The Marriage of Heaven and Hell, written and illustrated by William Blake. So that's going to lead us to Paradise Lost by William Blake. So there's the cover of the book, which I have been reading forever. I think I'm about halfway, but maybe I'm being enthusiastic. I'm probably like 1/4. I need to finish it because it is excellent. And that brings us to Gustave Doré's illustrations for William Blake's Paradise Lost. Oh, here you go. Here's a sample. Oh, so famous. So Gustave Doré also illustrated the Bible. And that, of course, is going to lead us to the Bible. Now, I have this 5-minute New Testament, and I actually started it, and that's about as far as I got. Now, when you have something like the Bible that has influenced so much in culture and history, where do you go? Well, I went to Jesus Christ Superstar. Now, of course, this is a musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice that was also made into a movie. But that's going to lead me to Murray Head. So Murray Head, I believe, played Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar, I think in the Broadway version, not in the movie version. He didn't play Judas in the movie version. And I believe he played opposite Ian Gillan. But this is a Murray Head solo album with Say It Ain't So as the title. And this is a really nice recording. This is one of those records that CDs that look like original records. They even come with OBs. So from there, I'm going to move to the musical Chess. So Chess was a musical written by the two males from ABBA, which I believe they're Benny and Bjorn, and also Tim Rice. So there was like one hit from this musical called One Night in Bangkok, and that was actually a hit on the radio, which is rare for a musical these days. Or these days, back in the 80s, not many songs from musicals become hits anymore. So that's going to lead me to Tim Rice. So Tim Rice has worked on many Disney soundtracks, for example, The Lion King. So from Tim Rice, we're going to go to his partner, Andrew Lloyd Webber. Now, they worked on so many musicals together. For example, Jesus Christ Superstar. But I'm going to pick for Andrew Lloyd Webber, Phantom of the Opera. And from Phantom of the Opera, I'm going to move to his wife or ex-wife, Sarah Brightman, who also starred in many of his musicals. Sarah Brightman did an album about Captain Nemo. It's actually a really nice album. So it's a concept album. So Captain Nemo was a character from Jules Verne. Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. But I'm going to move to Jules Verne's, who also wrote War of the Worlds. So War of the Worlds, a super famous and influential novel, had somewhat of a sequel written by Christopher Priest called The Space Machine. It's a very nice book. Very nice sci-fi writer. So he takes the idea of the time machine a bit further, and he also uses it to travel through space. So from this sequel, almost sequel of the novel The Time Machine by Jules Verne, we're going to move to the musical War of the Worlds by by Jeff Lynne. Now from here, I desperately wanted to go with Richard Burton, who stars because I also have a recording of Richard Burton doing Hamlet, and it's a cool album cover. But I didn't go that route. I jumped. Now I think this is where, in my whole 20, this is where my link is kind of the weakest. So I go from one concept album musical to a rock concept album. And that's going to be Alan Parsons Project's Tales of Mystery and Imagination. Now, I could have chosen iRobot because that is also based on an Isaac Asimov novel or set of novels. But I went with Tales of Mystery and Imagination because that is obviously a reference to Edgar Allan Poe. All the songs on this album are based on Edgar Allan Poe poems and short stories. So that's going to lead me to any novel by, or short story, or poem by Edgar Allan Poe. Some of my favorite is The Cask of Amontillado. So let's go with that one. And that's going to lead us to the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper, because on the cover of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, there's a collage of all these famous people. And Edgar Allan Poe is one of the prominent ones. Now, we're going to take a little bit of a dark turn. From there, we're going to stay with the Beatles, but we're going to go to the White Album. And the song is Helter Skelter. Now, from Helter Skelter, we're going to move to the book Helter Skelter, which was written based on the trials. I guess it was written by Vincent Bugliosi. And it's about Charles Manson. Now, Charles Manson used the Bible, especially Revelations, to instruct and convince his followers. And so that's going to bring us full circle, because Ulver, if you remember, the marriage of heaven and hell, it's definitely related to the Bible. So there you have it. I did it. I linked 20, and I want to show you that I had to map this out. I used the Freeform app. I originally started taking notes, but I realized the Freeform app, I could do it better because I can move these tiles around. And believe me, I had a lot of false starts. There were about 5 or 6 that I had to delete. I cut off branches. This was a really interesting thought challenge, and I really enjoyed doing this. So I want to thank Beth at Miss 80s for this interesting thread. And I know that she's picking it up from other people. I'm going to link her video in my description, but she mentions where it comes from and other people who have done this. So I recommend that you not only search out those videos, but give this a try yourself. So I tried to do it, of course, with literature and music, and I color coded. So the yellow ones are literature, and the kind of reddish pink ones were music. And I tried to do 10 and 10. Like, I tried to keep it equal. So that was the challenge I gave myself. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry I copped out. I have so many of these recordings on CD, on album, but since I'm in the middle of arranging, I couldn't pull all these things down because I need to keep it going. I gotta keep my momentum going. Please wish me luck. It's Thursday. I also have to do my taxes. I've been putting them off, but I have this week off, so I want to get my taxes done. Ugh, it's so boring. So I want to thank all of you out there who watch and comment. It's such a support for me, and I want to thank you for sticking through this what do you call this? Realia non-visual aid video. And again, I want to say finally, again, thank you for all of your support.